What's good, YouTube? Drake back with another video, you know what I'm saying? And I really can't talk loud because I'm in my college dorm room, prison cell, however the fuck you want to call it. But we can go straight into the story time. Story time is going to be about how I got R. Kelly. It's crazy to say, but it actually happened in 2021 or 2020, I don't remember. But we was kids, like me and that girl was like 17. I ain't gonna say no names, so yeah. I really don't give a fuck who get mad either, but yeah, we gonna get straight into it. So start all off, I had my car, you know what I'm saying? I had a car back then. We was getting them stimulus checks money. And I bought my first car with that. And shit, the battery wasn't working. And my mama didn't want me to have no car or nothing like that. So I had to park my car in front of old girl house. We can call this girl fuck. It's a good name. We gonna call her fucking T or something. T. Letter T. We call it letter T. So I had to drop my car off at old girl house, T house, in front of her house, and like me and her mama was sorta cool, I guess, like however you wanna say it. And yeah, and it was quarantine, so I couldn't really go to school. But like for me, for my school shit, it's either we have to go to school or have to do online. And my mama wanted me to go to school, but I didn't want to go to school. So I act like I'll go to school, but I really want to go. I really went to go sleep in my car in front of old girl house.
What?
It sounds crazy now, but this shit actually some dead ass shit. So I went to sleep in front of the car at old girl house while school going on. I'm joining classes on my computer so they won't mark me absent. And then she came in, you know, we do our little thing, whoop-de-whoop and shit. And by the end of the school day, and like she snatched my phone. Like, let me tell y'all, my biggest pet peeve is when a bitch snatch my phone just to look through my shit. That's one of my biggest pet peeves I like ever. Like, bitch, don't take my phone. The fuck? Hate when hoes do that shit. But not, excuse my French. I not mean to call y'all hoes or nothing, but shit, it's just how I talk. But like, I hate when females do that. So I snatched my phone back and I grabbed her by the neck. Now, before I get into this next part, let me explain what's up. So not only she snatched my phone out of my hand just to look through my shit, but we been in a relationship for like 4 months, 5 months at that time, and you still don't trust me. And every time you would look through my fucking phone, it'll be nothing there. So you just going through my shit just to do it, just to like, and you know that pisses me off. So yeah, so before I explain this next part, don't get on my ass. Don't say I'm abusive and shit, because like she know better and she deserved that shit. So I don't care. And I slammed her like on the the thing in the middle of the car, like, you know, the middle. I'm gonna put a picture of the middle of, you know, that shit. So I grabbed her neck and I slammed her ass, and I guess she got mad or something, right? And so she ran back in the house, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna go home too, school over with. So I went back to the house too, and shit. Yeah, and that's when I got the infamous text messages, y'all. Like, she was talking about, move your car if I go tell your mama, and like, I was finna get your shit towed. She was saying all that shit, like she was mad. I was like, what the fuck did I do? But I was like, all right. So I hit up one of my homeboys. I was like, hey man, hey, come help me move my car, because I'm not pushing that shit on mutual, however you want to call that. I'm not pushing that shit all the way to my house. Like, because that's what happened. Me, her, and her brother, we pushed that car while it's dead. We put that shit on neutral, or however you want to call that shit. We put it on neutral and we pushed that shit all the way to her house. And that shit was hard as fuck. Like, that was one of the hardest tasks we ever did. And she wanted me to push that shit by myself. Like, she didn't want me to jump the car because she had jumper cables, but she wanted to keep the jumper cables because T wanted to act petty and shit. And yeah, so I was like, hey bro, come help me move the car. If you help me move the car, shit, like, we can both have it on some shit. Like, I don't care about the car like that anyway, because the car wasn't really in my name, because I didn't put my name on the title, because I want to get that car, like, you know, like on some insurance, on some shit. But so I was like, I really didn't give a fuck. So my homeboys pulled up. I walked over there and she over here throwing paint on the car and shit. I was like, bro, what the fuck? You really that mad over that? And my homeboy was like, man, she throwing like bird shit on the car or something. Like, what is that white shit? It was fucking paint and some brown in it. I don't know what the fuck that brown was, but I know that white shit was paint. And she was just throwing it all over the car and shit. And I was like, bro, what the fuck you doing all that for? So I went up to her door and I knocked on the door. And like, I think the first time I knocked, it's either her brother or her mama opened the door, but I think it was her brother. And then her brother was like, I know the brother, yeah, it was the brother. The brother opened the door. And he was like, yo, what's up? And I was like, hey, bro, can you like get the jumper cable so I can move the car? Cause like your sister tripping. He was like, oh, nah, like my sister said no. I was like, nigga, what? And then, but like, I think he shut the door. He'd be like, he either shut the door and said, oh, I'm gonna go see. Cause he did say that at first. I was like, nigga, you scared of your sister, bro? I was saying that in my head. But I was like, all right. So he shut the door. And like, oh, girl, she just opened the door, just throwing shit at me, but it wasn't what you thought it was at first. I think it was just like regular shit at first. She was just throwing because she was mad, so she was just throwing objects at me. But you know, I kept my cool because like I don't blow up on females like that. And then like I kept knocking on the door, and that's when the mama opened. And I was like, hey, can you like tell girls like to get the jumpers cables, cause she tripping and like I'm not fucking with the energy no more. And she was like, all right. And she shut the door, and that's when T opened the door, and like it was a bottle of piss, and she just threw it on my ass and shut the door. And I was like, now here's the most embarrassing part, y'all. Where she got the piss from was from me. Now let me explain. It was because I used to sneak up in her house, right, and at night, and I can't use the restroom, so she let me piss in these bottles and shit when I had to use the restroom when I spend the night at her house and shit. And I guess she kept them, I guess. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm dead ass serious. Like, I never told nobody that shit at all. Like, I always say it was hers, but nah, like the crazy part was it was my own piss looking ass. And that's the crazy part. Fuck that. Bitch, what the fuck? So I kicked down her door, bro. Yeah, like I kicked down her door. Like I was so mad. I did like 2 punches and like 1 kick, and it like flew open. And I was yelling, like I was saying, like, I don't care everybody in this house. Like I don't give a fuck. I was mad as fuck, y'all. But I still didn't fight nobody that day. And the brother gonna try to come outside and try to fight my ass. And like, then OT gonna come outside with like a wooden plank and shit. Talking about if I hit his ass, that they all gonna jump me and shit. And yeah, like, that day crazy. Then what happened after that, like, I took a walk. And of course, like, the mama told my people on some shit. And everybody knew I had a car, and what a twist, but a lot of shit happened that day. Like, hey, I ain't gonna cap. I had tats, and like my mama didn't know I had tats. I was hiding my tats. That's why my first tats was like chest tats, because I had to hide them, man. That's the day they found out, but they didn't give a fuck. But yeah, so much shit happened that day. I kicked down the bitch door. They found out I had a car. I lost the car that same day. I was finna go to jail, and I got back with her the same day.